So if you've been playing this game for a while, you'll know that pretty much the people at the top have very similar teams, because obviously you can only pick 4 from one nation, so people tend to, well, just pick the same players, to be honest. And one way, or 2 ways, that we can get lots of differential points is captain. So picking a player who scores, I don't know, 100 plus points, for example. Darcy Graham's done it a few times, probably against Italy, most likely. I think I remember, was it last year? He scored like 150 points or something ridiculous. Peno as well, very good for that. Ramos, consistent performer. And also, obviously, super sub. So in this video, I'll look at the best captain options for round 1. And in a later video this week, we'll also look at the best super sub options. But as always, before we get into the video, if you haven't already, and I checked, 60% of you are not subscribed to the channel. So even if half of those people could just go down in the comments, we'd be absolutely flying and in a much better place with our community. So if you can do that, just hit the button. Won't spam you at all. I'd really appreciate it. So first of all, thanks for watching. Let's just get into the video. So it'll become clear what I've done, but I've started from the back row up. Now, I know for all of you forward lovers out there may not be many of you watching this video, but the front 5 don't typically get masses of points, and to be honest, I don't think I've ever captained a front 5 player in fantasy. Unfortunately, they just don't get many points. So I've started off with the back row, and I'll just fill the remaining positions. But I have only picked one back row, and as you can see, that is Greg Aldreet. A decent option for captain. I, of course, would probably recommend any of the latter players in the backs. But we'll see that in this game, you can get lots of points for, well, carrying ability. Obviously, man of the match, which Greg Aldreet is always up there. So he's just a really consistent performer. Does he get masses of points like Peno will do if he scores 6 tries, for example, like he did for Bordeaux the other week? Well, obviously not. But I think if you want a consistent performer, and this would be the same with many back rows, with the likes of Ben-Hur, Jack Morgan, even Doris as well, will probably average around 30-40 points a game. I'd say it's more of a safe pick. So a decent captain option, but I guess first of the video, it's more of a warm-up. Now, onto the juicy stuff. These 2 players, massive strong options for round 1, and really great fixtures as well. Starting off with the man, Antoine Dupont. We all know what he can do. Best player in World Rugby. Definitely now, but there's actually an argument, maybe ever. Down in the comments, who would top him? Maybe the likes of Dan Carter, Richie McCaw, but at the moment, absolutely on fire. Probably needs a World Cup to go with it. But super strong option. Obviously, kicking off the tournament, France are pretty much favourites for the tournament, given the disruptions with Ireland, obviously no Farrell, etc. So Dupont against Wales, very weakened Wales team right now, given that. Really like him as an option. Similarly, we've got the potential starting 10 for the Lions in Finn Russell. He's also at home against, again, debatably the weakest team in the tournament. Got apprehension saying that, mainly because of some of the comments. And Italy are pretty strong. Are they stronger than Wales? Well, we'll have to see when they both play each other. But not taken away from the fact that Finn Russell is a really decent option. Obviously kicks as well, so if Scotland do go on to score lots of tries, Finn Russell will definitely get a fair few assists in there. It's just the way he plays. 50-22s are on with him as well. Loves to kick out of hand. So skillful. But also the chance of penalties and conversions and the ways that kickers can gain points are like no other. So really like him as an option as well, and a great fixture. Next up, in the centres, and probably not as juicy as the previous 2, I've gone for Hugh Jones and Bundyaki. So Hugh Jones is an interesting one because he won't be paired with his teammate Pelotto because obviously he's injured, but Hugh Jones is still a really good option, especially for the centres where debatably there's not much fantasy choice. Hugh Jones obviously loves to run the ball exactly how Finn Russell plays on that outside arc, so a really decent option. Again, Bundy Aki, kind of like the opposing centre style to Hugh Jones, whereas Aki will just run through the middle and get loads of line breaks, and I think it's like 7 points for a line break or something like that. He'll carry the ball loads, especially against England. It might be one up tight and up front, so Aki is going to get loads of the ball. And finally, probably the juiciest of picks in the back three. We'll start off Duhan van der Merwe. Again, this was very close in choosing Darcy Graham. You could probably do a coin toss or pick both, but I think van der Merwe slightly edged it. Very consistent, not played overly much club rugby, but we know what he can do and he loves the Six Nations. Him and Darcy Graham have also got this little internal battle going on who can be the top scorer for Scotland. Van der Merwe is just like no other winger in the Six Nations at the moment. So against Italy, I think he'll run ragged. Thomas Ramos is going to be a super decent option for a captain, probably all throughout. If you just wanted to leave your captain on someone, I would recommend leaving it on him. Well, or Dupont, of course. But Ramos, we know that he's been playing 10 for France with Untermack out. I think Untermack is back now, which will give Ramos the 15 jersey back and more ability to run the ball from deep, cut the line, and make maybe a few more assists. But he's also got that kicking ability, right? So any back three player with kicking is a goldmine on fantasy. So if not, potentially the best option for captain. And then last but certainly not least, I've gone with Damien Penaud. And at the time of recording this, I think he may be out of the opener against Wales and potentially the whole of the Six Nations, which means that's going to be both Louis Biaberet and Penaud, both Bordeaux lads, out for at least the opener. Obviously they've got Villiers, but no one is like Penaud. It's not confirmed yet, so obviously if anyone's been watching club rugby at the moment, or the Six Nations over the past few years, they'll know Penaud is super lightning fast and also just loves the try line. But obviously these are why these videos exist, because it is, in theory, best captain options. We obviously don't know the team sheets. Penaud might just be totally out of the Six Nations, which means captaincy will have to fall elsewhere. But for now, and the time being, I don't think you can look past putting the captaincy on Penaud against a pretty weak Welsh backline. So that's overall my best captain picks. Let me know down in the comments if I've missed anyone glaringly obvious, but I feel as though I'm probably going to pick one of these as my captain going into round one. All dependent on injuries, of course, but we'll have to see. I think these are probably the most consistent and probably most picked captains that will be for round one. But thanks for watching all, and I'll see you in the next one.